like to ask you, Bante, about how nature enhances meditation.
First, you should know about what the teaching of the Buddha is.
Okay.
The teaching of the Buddha is not far from is in our life with the nature.
Okay.
So the teaching is called Dhamma. Dhamma is the nature.
Right. So every meditation is meditation on nature, actually.
No, just we know we can live in accordance with the nature. Then we live in accordance with Dhamma. Okay?
When we talk about nature as trees and landscape and jungle, how does it help meditation? Because there were several monks that on purpose went to the jungle because they thought that jungle helps meditation.
Yeah, first you should know what the Buddha teaching about the nature. The Buddha said, monks, now you sit in front of the tree and the nature. Now your mind stay here and emptiness of whatever not being here. If you just stay here with the nature, seeing the trees and the nature and not lost in thought. So the nature will help you calmness easily. When you see the nature, then the calmness of mind there comes.
So if someone meditates in the big city, is it more difficult then?
It depends on what they understanding the concept of the meditation.
Okay.
The concept of the meditation is to stay with the nature.
Okay.
If they know the concept, even the meditation or not do any meditation in the town or city, but they can live in accordance with the nature. That means not attachment.
Thank you very
When
much.
you live in the nature, you don't have any attachment.
All right.
Okay.
You feel as
How you feel now?
as you are a part of the nature.
Yeah, and
So
no
you don't have
attachment.
to be attached to anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the point.
Why some Thai monks prefer meditating in the jungle rather than staying in the city? To find the answer, I will go to a research trip with two monks, Panapum and Alexander. They are curious as well.
เดี๋ยวนี้อ้อนวอนอย่างให้พระพุทธพระธรรมมันไม่ใช่อย่างนั้นเป็นที่ระลึกสติเป็นที่ระลึกมันจะโกรธนึกพุทโธมันจะเครียดนึกพุทโธพุทโธมันก็หายตรงนั้น
So you're saying the 5% is the main thing you have to keep 5% to be able to do it according to it. Once that's complete, then when you meditation, you doing puto. No matter what your mind's going out, when you realize that your mind is out there somewhere, then you come back to puto and do it outside of meditation, while working, while driving, maybe, or maybe when you first wake up, you stick your mind to Butto. Okay, or when you're about to go to sleep, you do the same thing.
You don't have to go to the jungle to find a forest master. Nowadays, they come to Bangkok to give teachings. Perhaps being in the forest is not so important after all.
He said that it doesn't matter if the forest gone down, because we're supposed to be able to do it in our daily life. Okay, it's just that when you're in nature, it's kind of separate and being apart from all the human with the chaos mind. So that's the best way. But when it's gone, you're back in the city. You have to do it anyway. You have to do it every morning when you realize that your mind is being sent down. So he said that
the most important thing is to heal your heart.
Heal your heart.
Even if the forest cut down, make your heart a forest.
Make your heart forest. Wonderful.
Master Luang Pu has told me that perhaps all the years I did Vipassana, which I learned from Western teachers, was a waste of time, because before you start doing Vipassana, you should have a calm mind. So from now on, during all the travel we take in search of Thai forest Buddhist masters, I will keep my mind to the Buddha. I will repeat Buddha all the time, and I will see how it will influence my reception of reality.
Buddhists in the West typically learn Vipassana or insight meditation. They observe their mind and body mindfully. Here in Thailand, meditation starts with devotion, observing moral precepts, and developing concentration by means such as mental repetition of the word Buddha or by chanting. We have a taste of it in a monastery near Bangkok, but we did not forget the question: how being in nature enhances meditation? When you compare your own meditation in the city to your meditation in the jungle, what is the difference?
Different because in the city, many things contact us by eyes, by ears. Very important by eyes and by ears. One thing I always say to my student, right teacher, right method, right object. Very important. I heard many monks or many practitioners, they are lost away and they give up because of not right method. For myself, when my master in the jungle taught me about the method, he commanded me to practice about dying. Yeah. And I wonder why. That one I just was about 20 years old.
Okay.
Then
I don't think that much about that at this age.
Thank you. Buddha said, you have to die. You can die anywhere around the world and any time. If your mind is not stable, you can't. Why? You always think, why like this, why like that? Always thinking, and you doubt.
Okay. So when you are in in nature, in the jungle, you don't have as many doubts.
Yep.
Okay.
We have to observe ourselves our mind.
So what is your experience in the jungle?
Actually, as I have told you, Vasanam is not a kind of Thai forest tradition. It's a Mahanikaya as a general monk, but interested in practice mindfulness. So maybe we cannot answer you in all the questions. Only limited. We have no experience like you have learned from the literature or from the other documentary about the forest meditation monk.
Okay, I'll ask a different question. What a monk who doesn't do practices in the jungle, what the monk like this think about meditating in jungle from the point of view of the city monk? Is it tempting or it's not important?
Jungle is something or the forest is the ideal place to practice meditation.
But you choose to live in the city?
Because at the moment, for the time being, it's very difficult to find the natural forest, the forest with no owner. Every forest has the owner. It's not the public area that you can go anyway. The surrounding nature also teach us about the nature, the true nature of things. But the most important point of Buddhism is to understand the inner nature, the nature of what we call ourselves. That is the major subject.
Is the inner nature different than the outside nature?
Not different, but for most of the people understand it. What we call the nature is something outside.
Yes.
We have no perception or no concept about this is part of the nature. It is one kind of nature. So actually, Buddhism suggests us to interest in something like vipassana meditation, insight meditation, to gain it and insight into what we believe that is ourself. Actually, it's a kind of self-knowledge.
Yes.
It's a self-knowledge to the level that there is no self. To understand it, there is no real self at all. That is the whole nature. You see the nature as a materiality and mentality is working together under the law of the impermanence or ever-changing, under the law of all suffering, no happiness at all, and the law of no self. Or you cannot control it. Actually, really, you cannot control it. That is the way to learn the nature.
Okay.
And some monks just go into it because they they heard that Buddha has said it's a good thing to do, and his disciple in the past confirmed that it's a good thing to do. They just do like that without no understanding. Basically, it's better than to stay in the city. I can say that.
Basically
generally, it's better. It's a more favorable environment. It's more suitable for practice meditation. But for mindfulness practice, like the monks and people here, we encourage people to stay in different environments.
Okay.
Because mindfulness must be mindful in every environment.
สองคนเนี่ยสามีภรรยา
หลังนี้เนี่ย
ใช่ครับ
เหมือนคนไทย
he's saying you really are a foreigner. You look like Thai.
My mind is Thai.
Two wooden houses near Bangkok. Several lay people are living in one of them. In the other, a 96-year-old monk is dying. One house is kept in darkness, the other well lit and exposed. The lightsome house is the one with the old man, a master of meditation. He teaches something unusual. he instructs his students to perceive their minds as the sky. In return, they take care of him by giving a massage to his sick body and by their presence.
There is no time, no place, no age, and no posture in which a dedicated monk will not give Dhamma, Buddha's teachings. I'm really moved by this meeting. We are now at Wat Nanachat, one of the monasteries established by legendary Thai forest monk Ajahn Chah. Despite the fact that it looks more like a tree garden than the real jungle, you can observe a wildlife here as well. We are waiting for permission to go to a more secluded place located on the bank of the river Mekong and to be able to talk to monks that meditate there.
Ajahn Chah was one of the legendary Thai masters of the 20th century. In Thailand, there are still few hundreds monasteries in his lineage and a few more in the west. Ajahn Chah spent many years in the jungle, walking the paths known only to him and the tigers. But the master who inspires me even more is Ajahn Mahabua. At the end of this road is a forest hermitage of one of his main students, who himself became a teacher. Is he as inspiring as his master?
So we would like to ask you a few questions about your experiences of meditating in nature and also about the method of meditation that you teach.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is to bring the mind inside. The mind normally likes to go outside. The mind likes to experience sight, sound, smell, taste, and tactile objects. But the experience does not enhance the real happiness. Instead, it enhances more stress and more suffering. The Buddha had discovered the real happiness, true happiness, is inside, not outside. So the goal of meditation is to bring the mind inside. And in order to bring the mind inside, you have to get away from all the distracting things. So that's the reason why monks have to live in the forest. Not because he wants to live with the animals or anything like that. But the purpose is to get away from human.
Okay.
human beings are the worst are the monks' worst enemies, especially women.
So monks escape women to the jungle.
Yes.
Okay.
Escape women and all the entertainment aspects of life. You know, like seeing a movie, seeing something, food. When you see this thing, you start to have desire for them. But here you see trees, you see leaves, you don't have any desire. And this is what you want to get rid of, is your desire. Because your desire is the one that makes your mind not peaceful, not content. And if your mind is not peaceful, not content, you will never find real happiness. Real happiness is in contentment, in peace of mind. And the only way to do it is you have to drag the mind away from all these things outside. The mind's goal is desire, the three desires. Desire for sensual pleasure, desire to become something, somebody, desire not to be. But these desires are very dangerous or harmful to the mind, because it's the one that causes the mind to experience stress and depression. So this is what we have to do, is get rid of this cause of our depression and stress. In order to do this, we have to give up everything and find the real happiness. Once you have found the real happiness, then you can give up everything. So what happens to the body when the body dissolves, the mind goes on to a new body. You get a new birth. But if you cut off your desire, then there will be no new birth. Because you don't need the body, you don't need a new body to replace your old body. Because you have better form of happiness in your mind. You have contentment, you have peace.
No desire means no rebirth.
Right, because desire is the cause of your rebirth. Like if you don't drive a car anymore, you don't have to buy a new car, right? If you don't want to go anywhere anymore, what's the use of having a car for? You only have a car because you want to go here and there. Right? The same thing, when you have no desire to see, to hear, to feel, then what's the use of a body? Because you have better happiness.
The fact that there is not much jungle left in today's Thailand forced the forest monks to be creative. They started setting up their monasteries near national parks. No longer challenged by tigers, they must deal with an animal only a little bit less dangerous, a wild bear.
They reach onto the...
Yeah, they climb up and they climb. Like right now the jackfruit are tiny, so they're obviously not going to come now.
But this is their favorite fruit.
This is one of their favorite trees in this forest. And you can see these ones are more fresh. You can see like this one, it's not very long ago. And this one looks good.
So when you walk here at night, there is a big chance that you...
Yeah, well, they do have a season to them. They tend to come when the jackfruit are ripe.
Years ago, forest monks walk on tigers' paths to conquer fear. Today, bears do not seem to be equally terrifying. I had an impression that this American monk was actually fond of them. Perhaps national parks aren't such a good substitute for the jungle as they seem to be. Finally arrived at a remote monastery near the Mekong River, one of the most secluded in Thailand. Was it really necessary to travel that far?
So it seems quite clearly that the Buddha's opinion was that it's helpful and conducive, and he encouraged monks to go and live sometimes forest, or can call it wilderness, to be away from the hustle bustle of a village, town, city. And also in one place the Buddha says that this will be conducive for the long-term prosperity of the Sangha if monks will resort to secluded forest places. So that's the Buddha's opinion. Yet the Buddha didn't make it into an essential of the path. That's also very important to remember it. And so from my own experience, I would say that I agree with both. Like it's one can see quite clearly or experience the benefits of living in nature. And yet the essence of Dhamma, the essence of you call it awakening the mind or developing the mind, is not conditioned by that. It's a conducive, it's a supportive condition, also for certain individuals, maybe not for everyone, but it's not like an essential on that path. And maybe one point regarding Ajahn Chah as one who is forest tradition, grown in the forest tradition, but did take some unique perspective of it. Like when he talked about his own practice, he said like when he was a young monk, he went to very remote places, either in the forest, on a mountain, and sometimes it was up to, like he had, for alms round, he had to go 10 kilometers, hardly be on time to eat before midday, and like he did these kind of things, but he said it, and he says that was because he didn't understand where is the true place of practice. So getting all these kind of importance of it, and also the kind of romantic aspect of it, of those monks that was living remotely always and experienced all these whatever amazing, fascinating experiences. Ajahn Chah didn't make much out of it actually. He didn't give it great importance because he knew that this time and age this is not going to be the useful approach and the kind of the model. And also he knew that Dhamma practice doesn't need to be there.
It's more in the heart than in the place.
Yes, and it's you know, he talked a lot that it is everywhere in every situation, and it's having the right principles of the practice, which will make the difference, and the right perspective on it. But in terms of these, it's very romantic, these stories about tigers, but it's actually not. One doesn't have to make too much out of it.
Of course.
So this is as far as I went to find a wonderful place in nature suitable for meditation, and I hardly can imagine a place that could be better than this.